Hi and welcome to another segment of Buy, Hold, Sell. My name is Camilla Cox. I'm a Senior Corporate Affairs Advisor here at Wilson Asset Management, and I'm joined by the small to mid-cap guys, Will, Shaun and Cooper. Welcome guys. Will, we'll start with you. Cettire, they're a high-end digital fashion retailer. What are your thoughts?
Cettire's a buy. They were one of the famous COVID stocks which rallied. I think when it IPO'd, it went from under $1 to $4 and then went all the way back to $1. But what they've been able to show is that despite the luxury brands, potentially, sales coming back with the interest rates and the consumer being impacted at the moment with inflation, they're quite a small player in a big market and they're growing quickly. And there's not a big amount of luxury brands that sell online. Not a lot of the sales are there, so they're getting the benefit of that as well. We think it's a buy.
Shaun, this company has defied expectations. HMC Capital, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, we've got HMC as a buy. This is a classic back management story under the leadership of CEO David DePilla. They've done a wonderful job really in the context of tough market conditions, pulling off the HealthScope deal, which underpins the unlisted healthcare fund. We think going forward, investors are increasingly looking for exposure to alternative assets outside of traditional REIT asset classes, and the business is strongly positioned to benefit from that. The pathway to 20 billion of FUM has been set, and we think if they can execute on that, the stock can double from here. So yeah, we think that one's a buy.
Cooper, Develop, formerly Venturex over in WA, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, Develop's a buy for us. It's a mini min resources, and if anyone's from WA, they'll understand exactly what that is. We think Develop can also perform really well, such like Min Resources has. Again, you'll hear us talk about management from time and time again. Billy Beaumont's an incredible manager. He's been able to hire up in the mining services division without advertising for a single role, just through his networks. We believe that's been incredible for them. They're showing great progress at Bellevue, which I think you'll hear about later. And that's putting their mining services division in the running for more contracts, Liontown being one that's coming up at the end of the year. All the mining services division does is actually provide cash flow for the two mining assets they have, and they're both in the critical mineral space. So we think it's a massive buy, so Develop, buy.
Will, talk to us about Neuren Pharmaceuticals.
Neuren is a rare disease company. They licensed their key product, trofinetide, to a US partner, which they took it through the phase 3 and got it into approval, and that's now in the key stage of their launch. So this is probably where investors have the most questions about what's happening, because it's really hard to get an understanding if the launch is going well or not, and it's hard to find valuation support. So it's a hold at the moment, but I think if you start to see evidence that the product is getting the sales, which you'll find out, sort of in early August, then it could be a really big buy, because the upside is limitless. They've got, I think it's 650 million US in milestones plus royalties, and then they've got another drug they're developing which could be just as big. So yeah, it's a hold, but watching cautiously.
Watch this space. Shaun, what about MA Financial Group?
Yeah, we like this one too. It's a buy. The recent AGM update showed strong inflows really in the context of a challenging market environment. They continue to broaden out their product suite. They're expanding offshore into Asia and the US. We think valuation on 12 times earnings is overly depressed and reflects, I guess, the market's concern around the CIV visa reviews and potential changes. We're seeing some of the government rhetoric come out here, I guess, more favourably now. And we just look at that as option value now, really. So yeah, we think that one's a buy.
Cooper, Paladin Energy, soon to be African uranium producer, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, Paladin's restarting its Langer Heinrich mine over in Namibia. And I suppose I'll start while we're bullish on uranium. It's obviously got very tight supply-demand kind of situation right now. You're seeing that uranium price squeeze up. So we really like it as thematic. That's the short-term play. The longer-term play, we like it for a kind of new energy and clean energy solution as well. So we do keep our eye on uranium. Paladin, however, is starting up a mine that's been on care and maintenance since 2018. This doesn't come without its challenges, and we think it might be challenging for them to do so without any hiccups. We have it as a hold for now, but again, we're keeping a close eye on that uranium price, because it really does drive that share price movement.
Will Synertec help companies reduce their emissions? So does that make them a buy?
It does. Again, it's probably priced well at the moment, so it is a hold, but they've got some key contracts which they're dealing with a couple of big partners, one being Santos. For background, they have these solar and battery systems which they can put in regional areas. And it's not just for mining companies, it's for any company or anyone that has a need for power in a place that is difficult to get to or won't have connection to baseload. So at the moment, just waiting to see evidence that it's actually true and everything works. And so they've been doing a pilot study with Santos for over a year now. So if we see evidence that that's going well, then I think the upside potential is really good, but it's a hold for the moment.
Shaun, we were just talking about everyone's Europe trips, and these guys have had a strong run. So a Webjet, a buy, hold or sell?
The only man not going to Europe.
Oh.
I'm going to say hold, but would be adding on any weakness. I mean, management have done a great job throughout COVID in terms of, I guess, restructuring the business to benefit from, the eventual rebound in travel that's come through. But I think what the market's missing here is the structural improvement within the Webjet's B2B business, which we think going forward could really surprise in terms of, the incremental operating leverage and TTV that business is able to attract. The near-term feedback in terms of travel is very strong. The whole Wilson Asset Management office will be in Europe, except for me. So yeah, we think the outlook looks good here, but hold for now.
Cooper, back to you. Centaurus Metals, buy, hold or sell? Yeah, Centaurus, it's a Brazilian nickel sulfide, soon to be produced. It's probably it's a little bit way away from that actually. It's just wrangled back 100% of its offtake agreement, which it was previously owned by Vale, who were the owners of the asset beforehand. What this has done for Centaurus, it's opened the door for OEMs to come in and shore up their nickel supply. And we're expecting a few of those OEMs to be knocking on the door demanding kind of offtake agreements with these guys. However, it's still got a long way to go. It's got a couple of catalysts coming up with licensing and then also its DFS this year. And with that's going to come a kind of dollar value and a CapEx number. We're hoping one of those OEMs can contribute to that somewhat, but until its financing options have been shored up, it's a hold for us.
Will Lithium, Pilbara Minerals, buy, hold or sell?
Pilbara's a buy. It's still quite cheap, even though the valuation does look big sometimes. And there's probably should be a premium there because it's a great strategic asset that a lot of the big players might have a look at. There's been rumours about that, but I think importantly, the growth profile is massive, and that's what investors are looking for, a company that can sustain the growth and sustain the free cash flow, and they're going to keep printing cash, and especially where the lithium price is at the moment and the move towards EVs that we're seeing literally everywhere now, and China are going really hard on it. So it's good positive momentum for lithium price and good positive momentum for growth, and yeah, it's a great management team too.
Childcare is receiving a boost from the government in June. So Embark Education, a buy, hold or sell?
Embark's a buy for us. Childcare industry conditions look the best they've been in 10 years. You've got increased government funding coming through, which will drive an uplift in occupancy and fees. And with elevated building costs and rising cost of funding, you're just not seeing the supply response that you would typically see. For Embark themselves, if you look at how they've positioned the business, they've divested the New Zealand assets, refocused on Australia. Recent AGM update highlighted it's trading very strongly. If you look at, IPO candidate Nido Childcare, it's looking to list on the market at 8 times earnings. This business currently trades on 3 times, has 40 million in net cash to deploy into acquisitions. So yeah, we think it's a standout in the microcap space.
Cooper, Azure Minerals, the story used to be about their gold and base metal projects. What is it now? Buy, hold or sell? Yeah,
so again, it's what's hot right now. It's lithium, and in their nickel project up in the West Pilbara area, they've drilled a hole with a hit over 100 metres and over 1.26% lithium. So it's a very strong hole. It's actually been backed up by another one just the other day, another over 100 metre hole, over 1% lithium. This basically means that there's a lot of lithium out there. We're not sure what exactly the size of the resource will be, but there's speculation that it could be upwards of 100 million tonnes, which is amazing. The share price has reacted incredibly positively to this news, as you can imagine. It's a hold for us at the moment, though, as we wait to see if the continued drill out of that asset proves to be what they expect it to be. So again, very hot sector, massive drill hits, could be the next really big asset in WA, but hold for us for now.
Will Close the Loop Group, they just had a recent acquisition, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, Close the Loop Group's a buy. Shaun and I have both been and went and checked them out over in the US, went to Cincinnati and Dallas, and the Dallas facility is amazing. A quick summary, they essentially take HP computers and refurb them and resell them. And HP really want to do it because they want to reduce their impact on the environment. So why not reuse and recycle the computers that they've already got out there? All they need to do is wipe the hard drive. And then in Cincinnati, if you think about L'Oreal and the big makeup brands, one of their products, MAC, they recycle all the MAC products. So when you go back to your store, you take your product back and they recycle it. So there's two benefits. One, it's good for the environment, and two, they can then market to their customers and say, hey, we're recycled and we're doing better from the environment. So there's a massive opportunity for the company to grow within those sectors. And then their other business, which is back in Australia, is also going really well. So it's a buy.
Have to keep that Mac tip in mind. Shaun, Life 360, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, staying buy on this one. The first quarter 23 result demonstrated cash flow break-even being achieved a quarter ahead of guidance. And the net adds were particularly pleasing given the company's put through over 50% price increases. We think the key catalyst on this one here will be the third quarter 23 result, where you'll start to see the benefits of the bundling tile strategy flow through, which has the potential to drive a significant uplift in retention of existing ads, and then also conversion of new users, which could see earnings really accelerate from here. Stock's cheap, management are good. Yes, we've got that one as a buy.
Cooper, what are your thoughts on IPD Group?
Yeah, IPD Group, or IPG as it's listed on the ASX, we think it's a buy. Again, staying kind of with the EV thematic, IPG is kind of electrical wholesaler and distributor of goods, and they've also cracked into the EV space, doing rollout of EV charging stations across Australia. We think this and that particular group in particular will outperform what the market's thinking in terms of earnings with the years to come. So we think it's a buy for that reason. It's showing its positive momentum. It updated the market in February, saying that its FY23 results were going to be positive than what it guided earlier than that, and then just last week it's updated it again. So it's really showing that positive momentum that EV space is having, and that the general electrification of the globe's having as well. IPG Group is a buy for us.
Will, Cooper mentioned these guys earlier. Bellevue Gold sounds promising.
Yeah, it is. It's a buy. Bellevue Gold, the key is they're about to come into production, and I think they've been developing this mine for 2 years with Develop, and there's been a lot of negative feedback on whether they're going to be able to get there without having to raise money and if the grade will hold up. But I think that's the opportunity, and once you see it get into production, it's going to be producing 200,000 ounces a year and cheaply as well, and it should really re-rate on that just in itself. And then you've got the gold price momentum at the moment, so it's a buy.
Shaun, DG Technology, buy, hold or sell?
DG is a buy for us. It's a provider of high performance computer power and services. We recently visited the facility in Houston in the US, and operational momentum within the oil and gas sector appears to remain very strong, which was reflected in the service awards over previous quarters. I think going forward there's potential emerging opportunities around AI and how that could fit into the high performance computing space. We'll see, but the stock's on 9 times earnings, very depressed, strong near-term growth outlook. We think that one's a buy.
Cooper, we'll end with you. Service Stream Group, buy, hold or sell?
Yeah, Service Streams, it's a buy for us. It used to be a market darling, and then entered into a contract that's been a troublesome contract for some years in Bow River. It's in their water utility space. Basically, we think the company's provisioned enough now to see the end of that contract without any more negative consequences. With that, we think margins will improve in that division. It's also got strong NBN contracts in its telco division, and it acquired Lendlease Services as well, which really bolstered its revenue. They've extracted good synergies out of that acquisition, and we expect that to continue to perform well. So yeah, Service Stream, it's a buy for us.
Great. Thank you everyone for watching, and thank you Will, Shaun and Cooper.